On the day the college entrance examination ended, I stood in front of everyone. A wad of cash was slammed hard in front of the school beauty, Lin Sway Sway. "Let's stop here, I've had enough fun." In the dead silence, Lin Sway Sway did not cry or make a fuss. She simply bent down silently to pick up the cash. After a long time buried in dust, he finally responded in a hoarse voice with a single word, "Good." After that summer vacation, Lin Sway Sway boarded the train heading to Qing Bay, rushing towards a bright future while I fly abroad alone. The long and painful chemotherapy has begun. It's been a full 10 years since we last met. 10 years later, I was lying on a hospital bed in a top-tier hospital in the capital. Scrolling through my phone, I aimlessly browse for wigs. Because of the intensive treatment, my head is as bald as a boiled egg. This Korean-style wavy hair looks great. The ward door was suddenly pushed open. A wave of cool fragrance mixed with the smell of disinfectant rushed in. I instinctively looked up and met a pair of eyes. In that, time froze. A figure in a white coat suddenly appeared in front of me. The nurse beside her was completely unaware. "Professor Lin, this is the new patient Lu Xingzhou." In that fleeting moment when I glanced over, my mind went completely blank. My phone almost hit me in the face. I never expected someone I thought I would never see again would become my attending physician. I fumbled to adjust my mask. I wished I could just bury my head under the covers. Although I didn't dare to make eye contact, I could sense that heavy, cold gaze. It was completely different from the helpless yet gentle look from back then. The intern began to report that Lu Xingzhou, a 28-year-old male, was ill. 10 years ago, he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma during a health check. Further diagnosis revealed it didn't need to be said again. The interrupted intern curiously asked, "Professor Lin, do you know this patient?" My heart jumped to my throat. My fingers were scribbling on my black-screen phone. After a while, her calm voice broke the silence. "I don't know him, just that the medical history is quite special." I glanced at him a couple more times. After saying that, she turned to check the next bed. He didn't even glance at me before leaving. The moment the door closed, I collapsed on the bed. My back was drenched in cold sweat. Lin Sway Sway seems to have really forgotten me. It was as absolute as it was back then. He didn't even have time to hate me. If we rewind 10 years back, Lin Sway Sway and I were completely from different worlds. Back then, I was the infamous troublemaker in class. Relying on my family's wealth, I acted recklessly every day. My grades were consistently at the bottom of the class. To save me from this mess, my homeroom teacher went to great lengths to arrange for Lin Sway Sway to be my deskmate. Lin Sway Sway was the complete opposite of me. She was smart, cold-natured, and her looks were remarkably elegant. In her world, there were only endless test papers to complete, and an unending pursuit of the top rank. Her only flaw was probably that her family was too poor. At first, she didn't even bother to pay attention to me. I'm different. I've got thick skin. Boys at that age know nothing about romance when chasing girls. It's just about sending flowers, writing love letters, and buying snacks. I looked on with disdain. On a sunny morning, when all the boys in school were busy giving gifts to the goddess, those flashy but meaningless things, I simply carried a box of books, and with a loud bang, I dropped it on Lin Sway Sway's desk. Everyone around was stunned. Lin Sway Sway frowned and looked up at me. I patted the box, feeling quite proud. The complete set of 5 years of college entrance exams and 3 years of mock tests, plus the Yellow River secret papers that you can't buy in stores. Also, I've covered all the costs for your exam papers and materials this semester. As the saying goes, fierce women fear persistent men. Even the aloof Lin Sway Sway couldn't resist my straightforward and blunt approach. It hit right where it hurt. Within a semester, we became an unusual pair in the eyes of others. Those days were truly wonderful. I'm someone who usually can't stand listening to the teacher's lectures. I get sleepy the moment I hear it. But as soon as Lin Sway Sway gently taps my head with her pencil and says with a straight face, "Lu Xingzhou, focus on the questions," I instantly feel wide awake. I just lay on the desk like that, pretending to look at the questions, while secretly glancing at her profile. The afternoon sun in summer shines through the curtain slits onto her face. Even the tiniest hairs are clearly visible. Why are you looking at me when you're supposed to be solving questions? I don't have the answers on my face. He's always blushing when he scolds me. You're prettier than the questions. I grin cheekily. Under his rigorous training, this perennial underachiever miraculously started to get it. In just one short year, my overall score improved by over 100 points. On the eve of the college entrance exam, we even bought a huge map of China, and Lin Sway Sway circled Beijing's location heavily with a red pen. Then I drew a straight line to our small county town, Luxingzhou. We agreed to meet in the capital. No long-distance relationship. We would go to college together. His eyes sparkled, even more beautiful than the stars in the sky. It's a deal. Whoever doesn't go is a little dog. Back then, my youthful spirit made me truly believe that the future was within reach. If it weren't for that damn medical checkup later, a violent wave of nausea pulled me back to reality. I was hugging the toilet, feeling faint. My childhood friend was worried and wanted to find a doctor. I grabbed her and urged, "Don't go." If the fragments recognize me as that scumbag from back then, I'd be facing 100 rounds of chemotherapy as revenge. Just then, a cold voice came from behind. "Who told you that you need to undergo chemotherapy 100 times? I stiffened and didn't dare to turn my head. That night, when the nurse came to give me an injection, the gossip was strange. Professor Lin usually doesn't bother with trivial matters. This time he specifically instructed to give you imported anti-nausea injections. Did you know? Professor Lin is a genius. He has completed his bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in one go. I heard he's about to marry the dean's son, a returning PhD. A perfect match. The smile on my childhood friend's face froze. She awkwardly looked at me. I tugged at the thread on my hospital gown and forced a smile. He has a bright future ahead. I have my own struggles. After that, Lin Sui never showed up again, until I was discharged from the hospital. My childhood friend helped me rent an old first-floor apartment in the capital. Just as I settled in, the class monitor brought a few old classmates over for a gathering. The kitchen was filled with the smell of cooking. The monitor was picking vegetables while asking, "Xingju, is your illness lymphoma? Lin Sui is a top expert in this field. Why didn't you consult him?" My hand trembled.
林穗穗是这方面的顶级专家，你没找他，我手一抖。
I didn't want to get involved with him, but just as I finished speaking, the doorbell rang, followed by the surprised gasps of my classmates. "Lin Sui, you're finally here." I froze in place, not wearing a mask. That swollen, pale face, exposed to the air without any cover. Lin Sui was wearing a white shirt. Her gaze scanned through the crowd. It landed precisely on my face. She paused for a second, then turned to the class monitor and said, "Let's have a clear soup pot, less oil, and less salt." Everyone was busy in the kitchen. Only the two of us were left in the living room. I felt like I was sitting on pins and needles. I reached out to grab my mask, but with a snap, Lin Sui snapped the hollow vegetable in her hand and said coldly, "Since everyone already recognized you, is there really any need for this?" I froze in my tracks. I awkwardly pulled my hand back. "I thought you didn't recognize me at the hospital. We don't need to act like we are strangers." He lowered his head to pick out vegetables. He spoke very decisively. I wanted to find a crack in the ground to hide in. At that moment, the class monitor called for me. "Grab the kitchen paper towels." I felt like I had been granted a reprieve. I went to rummage through the TV cabinet, but I ended up using too much force. An old photo frame on top of the cabinet shook. It came crashing down straight. I didn't have time to dodge. A fair hand caught the frame steadily. I didn't know when he had appeared. He stood right in front of me. His gaze fell on the photo in the frame. It was a candid shot I took of her napping 10 years ago. And thus, the peaceful years came to an end. "Lu Xingzhou, explain this." His voice gives away no emotion. I scratched my head. I pulled out a strand of hair. A broken pot is thrown away. This is just a trendy X-wall, a tribute to lost youth. Scattered bits point to the side, to cover up the patched-up goofy photos of me and my childhood friend. "So, have you been with guys these years?" I steeled myself. "How about being open to both men and women?" His face darkened. He heavily set the photo frame back in place. It stirred up a layer of dust. He picked up his coat and left. "There's an emergency at the hospital." I walked to the entrance. He glanced back. I, like a quail, let out a faint sarcastic laugh. "I am an unwanted ex. Is it necessary to stay here? The door is closed." Second hospitalization. Just when I was chatting with the Daobao customer service. Because of a wig, things got heated while exchanging stockings. The door to the ward opened. Lin Sui walked in. I threw my phone away. I curled up under the blanket like a turtle. Lin Sui's voice was calm. I muttered from under the blanket that he wasn't here. I am her childhood friend. A few seconds later, the blanket was ruthlessly pulled away. I had messy hair. I looked up at her with a guilty conscience. The male doctor beside us smiled and smoothed things over. "Sui is here to adjust the plan." Lin Sui frowned at my ridiculous appearance. "It seems you're not interested in listening. I'll come back tomorrow." I hurriedly grabbed his clothes. He paused in his steps. My gaze fell on my darkened fingertips. A hint of heartache flashed in his eyes. He returned to a formal demeanor. After outlining the plan, he closed the folder. I want to give you a new targeted drug. It's effective but has significant side effects. You'll need to sign the clinical trial agreement. Without a second thought, I said I would sign. After all, I'm just a worthless life. Making a contribution wouldn't leave me with regrets. Lu Xingzhou. He suddenly interrupted sharply, his voice trembling. I won't treat lives as a joke. I'm confident in this plan. Watching her tightly pursed lips, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. All right, I'll sign for the new drug despite its severe side effects. By evening, I was throwing up uncontrollably, taking advantage of my childhood friend going home to get something. I pushed the wheelchair to the hospital. The small garden offered some fresh air. A well-dressed man walked over. Lu Xingzhou, what a coincidence, it's that day. The male doctor who followed Lin Suisui. Song Yang is also the son of the legendary Dean. Her fiancé. She pushed up her gold-rimmed glasses. Rather than hiding a storm. I heard you're the one who broke up with Lin Suisui after the college entrance exam. Your ex-boyfriend. Are you sick and trying to act in a Korean drama? Did you really push him away? That's so foolish. But thanks to you, I can get engaged to her. My anger flared, and I looked up and said fiercely, then give me a 5 million thank you fee. I'm having second thoughts, is that okay? I'm going to chase Lin Suisui right now. Tell her I still love her. You anger me. Song Yang doesn't get mad but laughs instead, looking at Lin Suisui behind me. If your ex-boyfriend confesses, will you come back? I turned around mechanically with a stiff smile on my face. In the sunset, Lin Suisui stood with her hands in her pockets, icy cold. You can try to see if I've really gone mad. What did you say about still loving me? Let's see if I will return to your side. Song Yang smiled meaningfully and walked away. Lin Suisui came over to take control of my wheelchair, pushing me along the lakeside. Aren't you going to say anything? He asked me. I dug my nails into my skin, tears welling up in my eyes. I just did that to anger Song Yang. I'm sorry for causing you trouble. What do I have now to love her? Lin Suisui suddenly stopped and walked in front of me. She squatted down, saying I'm engaged to Song Yang. It's his father's wishful thinking. Today, I made him say those words. I was taken aback, then my grievances erupted. Congratulations to you. Seeing me like this, you must feel relieved, right? You are completely stupid. Lin Suisui's eyes turned red, tightly gripped my shoulders. Do you think I care about that pile of money? The recruitment for that clinical trial was sent to you by my class monitor. I should have been studying Chinese. Why did Lu Xingzhou become a doctor? If it weren't to save you, I absolutely won't study medicine. My head buzzed. It turns out he knows everything. He quickly wiped his face. I'm not going to bother you while you're sick. But remember, you can never get rid of me. That night I called the class monitor. He indeed confirmed that he had long been aware of my condition. Told Lin Suisui. He blocked the entrance downstairs of my house for a week. Lost 10 pounds without eating or drinking. Changed my major to study medicine. Surname Zhu. No regrets left behind. Hanging up the phone, I am suffocated in the darkness without night. I thought I was a tragic hero. The most important person for the results saved me. I have worked hard alone for 10 years. The ward door was pushed open. Lin Kui walked in with Ni Guang, looking at myself with a face full of tear stains. He tensed up, feeling discomfort somewhere. Why did you change the agreement, you idiot? What will you do if I die? Lin Suisui let out a sigh of relief and walked over. Let me beat it. Wait for me to cry myself out, and then he squats down. Her eyes are as bright as stars. Since we already know, can we reconcile and not break up? I shrank back a little. I can't. I will drag you down. I might die in the journey. He grabbed my shoulder. I swear, even if one day the world separates us forever, I will never give up my life for you. I will live well with your part of me. So, are you willing to say you love me now? I feel like a weary bird that has flown through storms for 10 years, finally finding a place to rest. I let down all my defenses and wrapped my arms around her neck. All right, let's make up. The second round of chemotherapy is over. The landlord would rather pay the penalty than let me stay. Lin Suisui said lightly as she peeled the apple. Just move in with me. It's closer to the hospital, and as a doctor, it's more convenient for me to take care of you. So I naturally moved into his upscale apartment. Although we were living together, I still felt a bit shy. Staying in the guest room, I wanted to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I pushed the door only to find Lin Suisui sitting in the living room reading. Without my wig, I stood there awkwardly with my bald head. He walked over and gently pulled my hand away from my head. He pinned me against the wall and kissed me. Our breaths intertwined until I felt breathless. I've been wanting to kiss you for a long time. He ran his hand over my smooth, bald head. I see you stressed over that wig every day, so I didn't dare to make a move. It looks awful, like a monster. I gave up on myself, not caring about looking handsome. He pulled me into the bathroom. Pointing at the electric shaver on the counter, he offered to shave my head. I was shocked, thinking he was crazy. He's a doctor. Appearance is very important. Sitting on a small stool, fragmented thoughts swirled in my mind. I looked at myself in the mirror, realizing how young I am. Sometimes, the family thinks I lack experience. A shaved head might make me look more reliable. And she spoke softly. I want to be there for you. My eyes turned red. Unable to refuse her, I tremblingly helped her shave off her long, black hair. Half an hour later, 2 bald heads appeared in the mirror. She pecked my lips gently. From now on, if I shave your head, you won't hold a grudge against me. We are even now. I broke into a silly smile. Later, I specifically bought 2 wigs, one for myself and one for him. We had an unwritten agreement. In front of others, we dressed impeccably. But when we got home and closed the door, we turned back into 2 carefree eggs. After learning my condition was stable, the class monitor organized another gathering. He was cautious on the phone. This time, let's not invite Lin Sui to avoid awkwardness. While fixing the light bulb, Lin Sui said calmly on speaker, "Xingju and I will attend on time." The sound of a cup being knocked over came from the monitor's side. "Wow, you two are back together." At the gathering on Saturday, Lin Sui and I entered hand in hand. Everyone's gossiping spirit was ignited. It was me who initiated things first. It was my fault for making her feel wronged before. 0 years old, calm, and composed. Truth or dare after 3 rounds of drinks. The wine bottle was only shattered into pieces. The question is how many times you have been in a relationship. Which part is the most unforgettable? He looked at me with a determined gaze. Once, he luxing sailed a boat. It turns out that all these years, he has been feeling in his heart. There has always been that unfinished first love. The second bottle pointed at me. Which time did you cry the most? I held her hand tightly. I turned over during the first chemotherapy. He wrote back then, "May we meet at the peak." I personally pushed away the person I love the most. That kind of regret hurts even more than sorrow. The final adventure. The bottle once again pointed at Lin Sui. "There is something I've wanted to do for a long time." He stood up, his voice clear and strong. "Marrying Lu Xingzhou." The private room erupted in cheers. I looked at him in disbelief. Late at night, Lin Sui felt a bit tipsy. He pulled me into the master bedroom. After a round of passion, I was a bit dazed. I heard him on the phone in the living room. His tone was filled with hostility. "Mom, this is my business. If it weren't to save Lu Xingzhou, I wouldn't have studied medicine at all. Back then, you suggested changing my major for a 20,000 yuan advisory fee. You privately altered my application to study education. Why didn't you think about today?" I instantly woke up, as if struck by lightning. It turns out there were such hidden circumstances back then. From now on, if anyone dares to trouble him, I'll act as if I don't have you as parents. He hung up the phone and found me eavesdropping. I asked him if learning the craft was hard. She held me and said it wasn't. As long as the endpoint is you. The process, no matter how tough, is sweet. Meetings between people are fated. Lin Sui and Lu Xingzhou will always be together. After that day, Lin Sui and I set our wedding date for 6 months later. First, to ensure my health is more stable. And second, I want to grow my hair out a bit. After all, getting married is a big deal in life. We can't have 2 bald heads at the altar. That image is too beautiful for me to bear. 6 months passed in the blink of an eye. With some sporadic care, I gained some weight. My hair also grew a bit thicker, though not long, but enough to style it well. Looking at my rosy complexion in the mirror, I hardly look like a cancer patient. On the eve of my wedding, I gathered my courage to call home after a long time without contact. The phone rang for a long time before it connected. My mother's voice carried a hint of politeness and distance. "Xingzhou, how are you doing in the capital? What did the doctor say? Is your condition stable?" I paused and took a deep breath. "Mom, I'm getting married. It's Lin Sui. He's a prominent doctor in the capital now. Getting married is a wonderful thing." My mother's tone instantly changed, filled with relief. "With a doctor taking care of you, your dad and I can finally relax. I wanted to bring him home to meet you, but before I could finish, a sudden barking sound came from the other end of the line, followed by my younger brother's childish complaint. 'Mom, Shuecho knocked over my Lego.' Snacks are scattered all over the floor. My mother immediately panicked. Oh no, quickly, grab the dog. Hey, your brother's place is a bit messy. Let's talk about the rest another day. I'm hearing a busy tone. The sentence where I want to take her home to meet my parents stuck firmly in the throat. When I got sick back then, to continue the family lineage. The second child was also born as a psychological support. In order to treat my illness, the family has truly drained all its resources. I don't blame them for shifting their focus to health. On the clever younger brother. Just have a dog at home. No one told me. I feel like my heart is leaking air. The empty Lin Sway is just beside. She didn't ask anything. Just hold my hand tightly, fingers interlocked. Getting married is a matter between the two of us. From now on, I am your family. Having you is enough for me. I felt my eyes welling up as I looked into his determined gaze. I nodded heavily. As long as I have you, that's enough. The wedding was finally set to take place in the capital. Neither side of the family was informed about the marriage license on that night. We booked a cozy little restaurant, only inviting classmates from that year and friends from around here. As expected, the class monitor got drunk again. He jumped on a chair, using a spoon as a microphone, and cried loudly, "Ladies and gentlemen, today is my brother's big day. Their journey together has not been easy." Without a host, the class monitor's tearful speech was the most heartfelt blessing. Amid the cheers of the crowd, I exchanged rings engraved with our names with Lin Sway. My childhood friend tugged at my tattered sleeves, insisting that he swear to take good care of my brother. Lin Sway smiled and agreed. Don't worry, my life belongs to him. That night, everyone was in an uproar. It feels like returning to the carefree days of student life. The next day, we started our honeymoon trip. We agreed that whenever we arrive at a place, we need to take a lot of group photos. The previous candid shot was too blurry. In the future, we need to take 10,000 high-definition photos, cover the walls of the house. In the following years, we traveled across the north and south of the Yangtze River, from the snow on Tsangshan Mountain by Erhai Lake to the Crescent Lake in Dunhuang, from Changbai Mountain Chancha to Sonia Coconut Grove. When I was young, I always worried that I would die one day. Every year feels like a stolen one. Lin Sway always comforts me, telling me not to be afraid because I am here. He is my attending physician. It is my wife. It is even more my pillar of support. Under his careful conditioning, my body miraculously remains stable. The photo wall at home has evolved from just a few sparse pictures in the beginning, become dense. The two people in the photo have gradually grown from a young couple to mature adults. Wrinkles have formed at the corners of their eyes, and white strands have appeared at their temples. I have lived from 28 to 38 years old, and then to 48. And by the time 58 rolled around, when Lu Xingzhou passed away, I was already a 69-year-old old man. For a non-Hodgkin lymphoma patient, this is a miraculous feat. This time, the recurrence came on strong. At this point, Lin Sway had become a leading figure in the medical field. Although there have been tremendous advancements in medical technology over the decades, the aggressive treatments are too harsh for a 69-year-old, whose health was already fragile. What we want is dignity, not just a struggle to survive. Conservative treatment is our mutual choice. Before leaving, Lu Xingzhou held my frail hand, though it was so thin it barely resembled a hand. But she smiled and comforted him. I've lived to 69, you know. You have to praise me for being amazing. Lin Sway didn't cry. Holding her withered hand tightly, his eyes were filled with affection. After I'm gone, you can take my medical records and publish a paper. This is a precious medical sample. Don't waste your leisure time. Don't keep sulking at home. Go dance at the square. After looking at my face for over 40 years, you should be tired of it, right? Not tired. Lin Sway said softly. Lu Xingzhou, I'm never tired of you in this lifetime. He slowly closed his eyes in endless warmth. It has been 41 years since we got married. He passed away peacefully, just like he fell asleep waiting for the doctor's rounds. Lin Sway calmly handled the funeral arrangements. Everyone said she was too calm. Only he knows that place in his heart is completely empty. She rejected everyone's company. She returned alone to that empty old house. They were together for more than 40 years. They never had children. They didn't want their children to bear genetic risks. They also didn't want to have one more thing to worry about. Now, there is only her left in this house. Lin Sway didn't organize Lu Xingzhou's belongings. His clothes still hang in the wardrobe. They are kept in the same categories as when he was alive. The toothbrush and razor are still on the sink. That pot of beloved hanging orchid on the balcony is still barely alive due to her neglect. he would still water it every day without fail. That photo wall starts from the first picture taken on their honeymoon at 28 and goes all the way to their photo together at the Suzhou Humble Administrator's Garden at 68. A dense collection of thousands of photos documenting their lives. Sometimes, Lin Sui sits on the sofa, staring at the photo wall, lost in thought for an entire afternoon. At mealtime, he habitually prepares food for two. He sets 2 sets of bowls and chopsticks, then stares blankly at the empty seat across from him. Afterward, he quietly puts away the extra utensils. At first, the students were worried he might be in trouble. They took turns visiting, afraid he might do something drastic. But for half a year, Lin Sui continued to live his life as usual. His home was spotlessly clean. He even began to write books, documenting all he had learned and the miraculous case of Lu Xingzhou. Everyone thought he had moved on. In the blink of an eye, 5 years passed. Lin Sui was now a 74-year-old elderly man. His health had greatly declined. Even a cold would leave him coughing for half a month. Today was his wedding anniversary with Lu Xingzhou. He got up early, dressed neatly, and applied the lipstick in his favorite color from his youth. On the way to the cemetery, he picked a bouquet of freshly bloomed red roses, glistening with dew, reminiscent of their passionate love. Upon arriving at the cemetery, he first went to find the old caretaker. Sui is here today and seems to be in good spirits. Let's see if he received his letter. Lin Sui asked that question, a question he has asked every anniversary for the past 5 years. The old caretaker rummaged through the rusty mailbox for a moment. He shook his head regretfully, saying there were none this year. That was the last one. A hint of loneliness flashed in Lin Sui's eyes, but there was also a sense of expected relief. He walked into the cemetery and arrived at Lu Xingzhou's tombstone. In the photo, she is forever captured in the brightest age of her smile. She placed the roses down, ignoring the chill of the ground. Sitting beside the tombstone, he took out a sealed bag from his pocket. Inside was a stack of well-preserved letters. These were given to him by the cemetery caretakers after Lu Xingzhou's death. They were letters she had secretly written and instructed the caretakers to give him. She said if he didn't come to see me, they didn't need to give him the letters. That would mean he had begun a new life. If he kept coming, then give him 1 letter each year. Lin Sui opened the first letter. Although the content is already ingrained in my mind, he still reads it with the same seriousness as the first time. Does Lin Sui want me dead? Stop and think about what you promised me. To live well. I heard your student encountered some academic problems. Academician Z, for the sake of all humanity, you need to work hard. And take good care of my spider plant. If it dies, I'll haunt you as a ghost. A slight smile appeared at the corner of my mouth. My fingers brushed over the familiar self. The second letter from the second year. All right, you've kept the spider plant alive. If I had known, I might as well have raised a child. Let you be extra careful. Have you seen any older men you like recently? If you do, let me know. It would be strange if I'm not jealous. I'll dig around for information for you to vet first, interspersed with a few letters of rambling, illustrating the trivialities of life and the regrets left unfulfilled. Suddenly remembered the yak hot pot we had in Juzhaigu 34 years ago. It's so delicious that you should try it once. Just take it as for me. Lychees in the south ripen during the summer solstice. Gui wei is the most delicious. Don't save money when taking a plane to eat fresh food. Jiangxi has only been halfway through. I haven't climbed Lushan yet. You should eat less spicy food since your stomach isn't feeling well. Watching Lin Sui, she smiled and tears flowed down her cheeks. He can imagine Lu Xingzhou writing these letters, scratching their ears and cheeks while writing and laughing. She is always afraid of being alone. He tries every possible way to make his presence felt in the rest of his life. Yudaxin will soon hit the bottom. Only the last letter, which was sent last year, remains. Lin Sui, you're here again. Is life so boring that you're chatting with a dead person? What should the professor do? I can't write anymore. I'm always afraid that in a moment of impulse, you'll come looking for me. So I wrote you so much, just to hold on to you. I counted, and there are more than 20 letters, right? I bet you definitely won't see this part. At this moment, you might already have a full house of children and grandchildren, or maybe you're remarrying or traveling around the world. But if you still see this part, I admit I'm really touched by the little fragments. I may have won the world, but this is where it ends. I won't write to you anymore. I'm really sorry for leaving you alone for so long. Sometimes I think about how selfish I was, letting you suffer in this world. It's truly unfair. I won't interfere with any of your decisions anymore. If you're tired, then take a rest. I won't wish you health and longevity anymore. I wish you all your dreams come true and everlasting happiness. Yours, Lu Xingzhou. Having read all the little fragments, his hands trembled slightly. He reattached them to his chest. This deep autumn, she really didn't receive any letters. Perhaps she no longer needed to write letters. He must be getting anxious waiting over there as the sky darkens. The old man on guard drank a bit of alcohol to keep warm. After a long night's sleep, the heavy snow fell. The old man came out wrapped in a coat to shovel snow. He suddenly froze when he reached the corner. He saw someone from a distance leaning against Lu Xingzhou's tombstone, covered in a thick layer of white snow, almost blending into the earth and sky. She curled up, tightly holding something in her arms, completely still. The old man's heart sank. He dropped the broom and ran over. Frost had formed on his scattered eyebrows. His face was serene, like a sleeping baby. The scattered papers fell straight down. The letters in her arms spread across the ground. The bright red rose petals were especially striking against the snow. Aged 74. After being apart for 5 years, the boy went to find her on a frigid, snowy night.